What's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Junk Drummer TV, where I give my initial reactions, my hot takes, and my analysis on the drummers of today and yesterday, and maybe tomorrow if I stick around that long. I'm a professional drum teacher and a gigging musician, and I have been for the last 20 years. Today's episode is Abe Cunningham of the Deftones. I believe that the Deftones and Abe have one of the most desirable careers in all of rock and roll. Bands like the Deftones, 311, Clutch, they've all spent their time in the mainstream and gotten big mainstream success. But then, as happens in our culture today, things get big and then they go away. And a lot of bands try to, once they get that big mainstream success, they try to stay there. And man, that's really hard. But bands like the Deftones and Clutch and 311, they had their time in the sun. You know, with the Deftones, it was Around the Fur and White Pony. They were a gigantic band. It was on MTV all the time. And then, of course, that stuff fades. But what they were able to do was take that mainstream success and go right back down to the underground and still stay viable because they stayed true to the art form. And the hardcore fans, you know, those shallow fans, they always go away when you go out of vogue. But bands like the Deftones, they were able to keep that core fan base and still make great art. They're still making great records. I became aware of the Deftones through many hours of driving in the van. My bass player in my band is a huge Deftones fan. And of course, my band, we go with the whole tried and true rule of whoever drives gets to pick the music, and anytime my bass player drives, he's always playing Deftones and turning me on to stuff. And he's the guy that turned me on to Abe Cunningham and the Deftones. And I think that that's one of the most interesting ways to be turned on to stuff is by your band members and your friends, man. That, you know, you like them, you trust their tastes, and you check it out. And I've become quite a Deftone fan since then. So before we get into it, I'd like to remind everyone to please like, comment, and share. Give me a double tap on the subscription and the notification bell. I also have a PayPal option, link in the description, if you would like to donate to the cause. So let's get into Abe Cunningham with the Deftones playing Tempest. Now I know right away, commenters, y'all are going to bitch about the quality of this video. Man, brother Abe doesn't have a whole lot of... Let me finish that thought. Abe doesn't have a whole lot of drum cam videos on YouTube for whatever reason. Right there, I love what he does there. This is going to be not a big over-the-top virtuoso drum performance. You're going to see a lot of cool, subtle, solid drumming things today. The way that he sets up those hits with that little hi-hat, or whatever it was, that's very interesting. It's a simple thing, and he could have just easily accented that snare drum with the crash, but he set it up with that hi-hat. He does it again. Yeah, like that double in the right hand on the hi-hat. This would be nice to have a drum tech back there waiting on your every need. I don't think he gets enough love for his big groove. He's obviously a funk fan. You know, people always talk about, yeah, I like that. He's going from, you know, 2 and 4, and he's getting ready to play, if you've heard other videos of mine, he's getting ready to play the Motown B, a very slower version of it, where he play the quarter note on the 1, 2, 3, and 4. Watch what he does right there. He plays this drum fill. I'm going to bring it back just a little bit. And he plays that drum fill, and instead of just ending on the crash with the bass drum, he does the drum fill and ends it with the snare drum with the crash cymbal, and then that sets up that Motown groove. Let me bring that back just a little bit. Let me finish that other thought. A lot of people think about Abe's drum fills. He does a lot of drum fills in like double time from what the time of the band's playing, and his drum fills are really innovative, but he doesn't get enough credit for his groove playing, I think. Watch right here. Yeah. It's this cool, subtle thing, man. There's going to be a lot of just cool, subtle playing in this today. He's got that whip left hand to get that big crack in the snare drum. It's a stylistic choice to play that drum fill and come back to the snare drum instead of hitting the bass drum on the 1 and then starting the 2 and 3 and 4. He's got, that's interesting. He's got his toms reversed. He's got his 10 and then a 12, and that's probably a 14 and 16 off to a side. That's really cool. There is a history of that. Billy Cobham was really famous for that. Dom Famularo does that. I've never tried it. I need to do something with my setup. I'm really bored with my setup because I've been doing it for so long. It seems like that would really get you to rethink the way that you play your drum fills. Watch. He'll probably do it again. When he went to go, you know, what we call down the drums, you know, high to low, he had to go 1 to 2. That's cool. Excuse me. Yeah, that hi-hat thing. I love that. You know, when James turned me on to the Deftones, I'm not sure what he played for me. I like how he adds these flams right here. It's just a lot of, like, textures. Small details like that. But yeah, when James turned me on to them, I was like, man, they kind of sound like Radiohead metal or something. And then I went on Wikipedia, and whoever wrote their Wikipedia said that they have been called Radiohead metal. Yeah, that little skip high ride cymbal thing right there. That's so cool, man. You know, I know I'm going to get some commenters like, oh, none of this looks really hard. You know, we can get calloused to watching the Mike Portnoys and the Thomas Pridgeons and, you know, those kind of players. But, man, this is the kind of playing, this is real world playing. If you're out there, this is the kind of playing that gets you the gig. Yeah, man, I love his groove. He's got a little bit in his groove, this kind of like plotting feel that Matt Cameron has in Soundgarden. I would guess he's influenced by him. That's really interesting, having your toms switched around like that. That just has to force you to think differently. I need to do some of that stuff. Oh, so yeah, this is the part of the song where you get a chance to take a drink of a beverage. Be ready to come back in. Yeah, man, I like him a lot. He's kind of he's a new drummer for me. Right there, you know, he's not playing in an odd time, and if you've watched other videos, you've heard me talk about it. This whole, I guess, you know, call this a bridge section. This is almost like that, what I've called implied odd times. You know, he's not playing a 2 and 4. He's varying the syncopation of where the snare drum's at. And, of course, our ear is trained to figure out what the time is to where the snare drum's at. This whole part right here is a glorious breakdown of just of a repetitious pattern. And he's really able to be creative inside that. Yeah, so like those are the drum fills that Abe Cunningham's really known for. Notice right there, he sped the time up a little bit on that drum fill. Gospel drummers do that a lot. I'm going to take that back just a little bit. He did this really fast, you know, your what you think of those Abe Cunningham drum fills, and he sped up just a little bit. And when he came back in on the chorus, he moved that tempo back down. It's a really interesting way to create tension. Not everything has to be robotic in time all the time. Watch this. Let me do that again. I'm going to bring it back. My bad. Right there, he sped up a little bit, and you even heard the band kind of come up with him. But when he came back in on that chorus, he moved that time back down. That's an interesting thing to do, man. And I'm going to go on a bit of a tirade in our day and times of programmed drums, and everything is picture perfect, and every 90-degree angle is perfect, we lose human feel. That is a great human feel. He wanted to create tension and push the tempo a bit in that drum fill, and when he brings it back down on the chorus, it's this nice like release. You can't do that with a computer. You can't do that with programs. That's one of the coolest things in this whole video. Yeah, man, the Deftones just stick around. You know, they knew that they weren't going to be able to be the #1 band on MTV, because I think MTV doesn't have music anymore. So they decided to be like, you know what, we're just going to keep making the art that we want to make, and the real true fans are going to stay with us. I think the three biggest bands that are the greatest example of that is 311, Deftones, and Clutch. Yeah, man. There's that bridge thing there where he's really trying to hide the time and not giving you just that regular 2 and 4. Yeah, so even when he goes down, his drum fills are going, you know, low tom to top tom down to low tom again. That's cool. Yeah, man, I love this band now. I would like to give a thanks to my bass player for turning me on to them. Again, the big thing that I think you can take from the Deftones, I think is the biggest lesson, is like if you can be a lucky enough band to get that mainstream acceptance, don't think that's going to last forever. I mean, the Rolling Stones yeah, they're still around, but they haven't had a hit song or a hit record in decades. They reap the rewards of that popularity, and when that popularity waned, just like everything does, they were like, you know what, we're not going to just keep chasing whatever the next thing is that's the fad that's popular. They were like, we're just going to be ourselves, and we're just going to make the art that we want to make, and the people who really were down with us will stay with us, and their fans are rabid. They've been around a lot longer than you think. I think they were born in like 1988. Like, they're probably up for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at this point. So, if anything from the Abe video, don't be afraid to mess around with your drum setup. Do some stuff just because everyone goes high to low doesn't mean that you have to. And the second part is stay true to your artistic self, no matter what the pressures are from above saying, hey, we need another White Pony, or we need Around the Fur. They're like, I mean, you know, if people like this record, that's fine, but we know our real fans still will. So if you enjoyed all that, again, please feel free to like, comment, and share. Give me a double tap on the subscription and the notification bell. And again, I have a Patreon, link in the description. And remember, stay true to your artistic self and keep practicing until it's easy.